So this will affect nurses. So if you're not a nurse, you might not. This is regarding this the global agenda, though, and how this is how it's going to impact things. So I've read a lot of the papers. This has been a plan in the works for 15 years. So that's why I go hard at these nurses. And I'm being generous when I say they should lose their license. I've read the papers. So part of what they're going to want to do here is it's going to be because here, I'll just tell you really quick what each of the Sustainable Development Goals is. But when you go in to read them, it's much further. And this is all with the UN. Like you can go on American Journal of Nursing. They have an article, Nurses Achieving the Sustainable Development Goals, the United Nations, and Sigma. Sigma is a sorority, of course. Like we don't have enough of those secret societies here in the universities. Well, this one's out of the UN. You think the ones here are bad. It's all about the UN. The United States is no longer the United States. You are a global nurse. That's why I am being generous when I say these nurses should lose their license. That's a generous thing. The Sustainable Development Goals there's 17 of them. 1 is no poverty. 2 is zero hunger, and this will be implemented, I'm sure, into EPIC. This is why the constant upgrades in EPIC. I think they're just continuous, but it'll just be like if you think you don't have enough paperwork now, just wait, or enough clicking boxes. Because you're going to be expected to be a social justice warrior. You are going to be expected. It's not going to be like you can just be your individual self and just like this won't help patients. None of this bullshit is going to help patients. I guarantee it. That's what frustrates me the most. 3 is good health and well-being. And all this sounds good, but then when you look into it, it's crazy. 4, quality education. 6, clean water and sanitation. 7, affordable and clean energy. 8, decent work and economic growth. 9, industry, innovation, and infrastructure. 10, reduced inequalities. 12 or 11, sustainable cities and communities. Sustainable cities and communities. Yep, 15-minute cities. 12, responsible consumption and production. 13, climate action. 14, life below water. 15, life on land. 16, peace and justice, strong institutions. 17, partnerships for the goals. Yes, so you're no longer an American nurse. You are a global nurse. Now, they'll still tell you that, no, you're still a national. Yeah, no, it's not. Because all their papers that they've been writing, like in 2017, 2019, it's all just about the UN. That's where these nurses' loyalties lie. So number 1 up there is global impact. Yes, global impact. Because you are a global nurse. Inform and influence the design and implementation of health, social, educational, and economic policies at a global and regional level to promote health for all. And as you can see, the big circle, it says in the middle, strategic plan 2019 to 2023. And their vision, the global community recognizes, supports, and invests in nurses and nursing to lead and deliver health for all. Yeah, so see, I don't want to be on board with them because they're not. Look at what their idea of health for all is. It's open borders, which is causing the raping of children and much worse. Their mission is to represent nursing worldwide. No thanks, you don't represent me. Advance the nursing profession. Promote. They won't. They will drive it into the ground. Promote the well-being of nurses and advocate for health in all policies. Okay, yeah. Well, the first way these people could have advocated for health is to stick with their country and realize, you know what, we have a constitution. People died for it. They fought for it. This country's history shows that. Maybe I shouldn't go just jumping in bed with the UN, especially when they traffic human beings, drugs, everything. Let's see. So inclusiveness, that's at the bottom over here. engaging a broad range of partners, members, and perspectives. So I read a while back this sort of this scenario about this global nurse that is working in America, an ER nurse, and she has a black man come in because he suffered a gunshot wound from gang violence, and so she needed to sit back and reflect on her own bias and take that into consideration, and then consider the social justice for him. I mean, all this stuff that no ER nurse has time for. Like, really. But just imagine the amount of boxes you'll be checking in Epic. Then at the top there, so that one was for, let's see, let's go to goals over here. Provide strategic leadership to advance the nursing profession to meet current and future needs of population health systems, including health and social care and nurses. So this is where this social care of nurses, like they're going to decide if maybe you're not a healthy nurse, because you need to go along with all this. Yes, because it's not about America anymore. None of these nurses, the American nurses that got on board with this, clearly show they don't care about America. Let's go here. Goal: identify, secure, and diversify business and revenue generating opportunities consistent with our values to attain. ICN is the International Council of Nurses. As I said this yesterday, that's the ICN. That's who they are. All those people that should lose their license that are Americans. And you'll read a lot as you move forward and this rolls out and becomes implemented into your care systems, is what you'll see is it's about stakeholders. Stakeholders this, stakeholders that. Well, the stakeholders are you're wealthy. So it's all about money for them. You're a cog in the wheel. And then at the top here, membership empowerment. Now you can kind of figure in the yellow there what that is. They want to get everybody in a union. Yeah, so the easiest way to do that, destroy America, force us into the global agenda, and then the UN will just force all nurses, if you want to work as one, to be in a union. This is what they did during Hitler's days. You had a choice between like the Red Cross or Hitler's, it may not have been the Red Cross, I forget, but there were two different parties you could choose from as far as aligning as a union nurse. And you had to choose one or the other, and both were pretty bad. But there were people that were on the Hitler team, but the other one wasn't much better. So that's what they'll do. In order for you to make a living, you will be forced into a union. And since we don't force people into unions here, even though they've been trying so hard, you destroy America and weaken us, and then force us into the United Nations. Well, then the United Nations is control over us, and we have to do as they say. Of course, I'd be doing one of those, but so I won't be working as a nurse in that case. But I don't think they'll be successful. So the membership empowerment, strengthen national nursing associations. No, they need to be dismantled. They're the big problem throughout all this. Across the three pillars of the International Council of Nurses to enable them to address key challenges at regional and national levels. So what would be those key challenges? Well, people like me that are against, like I'm for a national, I'm for taking care of my country, I'm an American citizen, I shouldn't be forced to have to do this Nazi stuff these nurses want to do. And that's what it is. That you go read the papers and see for yourself. They think they're making it sound like it makes sense. No, it doesn't. They talk about this guy, Chuck, who's a home health care nurse, and he realizes that his respiratory patient who's struggling more, that it has to do with the biodiversity climate changes. It's like, oh, stop it. Yeah, so the global impact, the pink one up here, inform and influence the design and implementation of the health, social, educational, and economic policies at global and regional levels to promote health for all. Yeah, no, this will destroy health for all. So in accountability, you see up there, so you'll be expected to go along with all this. Thinking that you'll have autonomy anymore, they'll tell you that you do, but really you don't. You're going to just have more work, and all because of a bunch of American nurses that, as I've said, may have a ton of academic letters after their name, may be full of a ton of academic education, but they lack wisdom 100%. No wisdom whatsoever. You never want people with no wisdom to be leading anything, because those people that have no wisdom, this is where they'll lead you.